Dapz from Compound Audio, living in Leicestershire. DJ, producer, mixing, mastering engineer. Been DJing since '96. Got into producing about 1998, and then sort of took it seriously as of 2000. My earliest musical memories, wow. Man, it goes way back from being a kid. I grew up around music a lot, from various things, from hip hop, you know, the early rave scene, you know, dance music, jungle, hardcore, all that. For me, I mean, as a kid, my brother used to play a lot of music from the minute he used to get up, getting ready for school and whatnot, and he used to play a lot of rave music. And it was sort of like that aim and break that sort of got me into this whole drums thing, and I was always questioning, oh, what is that break, what is that break? And one of the first tunes what ever inspired me to get into jungle was M-Beat, Sweet Love. So from there, I mean, it was just like a mad roller coaster, really. The way I got into DJing and producing was, I think it was when I was like into hip hop. Really, I used to like listening to various artists and stuff. But the main thing I liked about it was all the scratching and the way they used to use breaks and mixing breaks together. And obviously, a family member of mine had a record player, and he used to have a lot of Run DMC, Public Enemy, and stuff like that. And he used to just scratch the vinyl, and I used to find that, you know, pretty interesting. So. One Christmas I bought a pair of turntables, did some belt drives, you know, as you start off on them. But yeah, I got mainly into like DJing from listening to tape packs from that Helter Skelter days, and you know, and just listening to various DJs and how they used to mix. And I used to try and like emulate and copy the same mixes from the same tracks as they used to do. Obviously, because you want to be that person when you're a kid. So yeah, that's how the DJ started. From, you know, utilising, you know, from tape packs and stuff. But for producing wise, I think it got to a point where you wanted to do your own thing. I think you wanted to like make your own tracks. But at the time when I started doing tunes, like around '98, it wasn't so accessible as it is now. I mean, you had to have a desk, you had to have like hardware equipment, and you know, most of the people was running like the Atari STs at them times and stuff like this. So as time went on, I mean, things were more accessible. PCs, you know, you got programs now, DAW programs. So yeah, I mean, I've just moved with the time. Influences from when making music, I mean, it can be anything from like just going through a sound library. You know, you can hear one particular sound and be like, yo, you get a vibe off that, and you just make a whole tune just from one particular sound. It could be like texture, bass line, or a drum break, anything. But I'd say without knowing now, you know, I'd take inspiration from the people I was listening to when I was younger, like DJ SS or Mampy Swift, you know, Hype, Zinc, you know, all them sort of styles there, Ray Keith. A lot of the guys, you know, that was in there from the very start. And yeah, without knowing, like I say, I would listen back to a track that I made, say, 6 months ago to even 6 years ago, and I'd probably think there's like a little inspiration there from such and such. It sounds like it's got a bit of that in there, which, you know, at the time I probably didn't even realise. I probably wasn't even encountering of doing that. But yeah, I mean, not just in drum and bass, but I take you know, inspiration from hip hop, even like, you know, heavy metal, rock music, you know, dance music. You know, it's where it all originated from, some dance music anyway. So a bit of everything really. I guess, I mean, with the amount of tunes that I've done, not just drum and bass, hip hop, you know, 4/4, all sorts, man. I always put like 110% in on every tune, whether it's from scratch, whether it's a remix, whether it's a collab, and every single tune always means something to me. Like, you know, you might notice some of the tunes are named, you know, silly things or something because it represented something in that time of life when I made it. But to choose a top one, I mean, my favourite one, I'd have to say probably like Give Your Love to Me, which was a remix I did for Angry, that was on Physmatics Records. Basically it was a jungle tune. I mean, it did really well. It was my first tune as Dapz to go to #1 on a jungle chart. But on the side of that as well, when I was doing 4/4 bassline with Slips, we did the Balaclava tune with Spider. I mean, that there was like a real eye opener to a whole new scene, a whole new genre of music. We got a lot of exposure on that, a lot of airplay from DJs on radio. So to pinpoint one, it would be very difficult. But I got a lot of tracks that mean a lot to me. So yeah, man, you need to check them out. In the studio, I use Cubase 7.5. 64-bit is my main DAW. I use bits of Reason as well, because sometimes you got to get those old sounds from Subtractor. For vocal processing, I'll probably use Melodyne, the standalone version. Cutting up breaks and stuff, if you can be bothered, you use Recycle, because I just feel that's a good tool to use if you want to get things vexed up, quick drag and drop. Mainly, my favourite little pieces are the hardware, the collection I've had for over a few years, but it'll probably be either this TL Audio, it's a valve equaliser, or the SPL jack, which is basically like it's got it's like a surround sound setting on it, where what it does is it does this like anti-phase and shifting. So when you start running people's tracks, or whether it's like individual stems, it will just offset them by doing like phase movement. So you get like a real clear sound, a nice separation from just that on its own. So I'd say, yeah, the hardware. As for courses, yeah, I mean, I went to it was like a summer course in 2000. It was in Leicester, and basically it was just to do with engineering. How to rig a studio up, how to rig up a live stage, and the full ins and outs of what a signal path would be, whether it's analog, digital, whatever. From there, I went to a college in Nottingham called Confetti. That was in 2004, or was it in 2003, one of the two. But from there I went straight onto the BTEC National Diploma Level 3, where it was everything from sort of basic editing skills within a program to, again, using hardware and software and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I passed that with a fast track, because the whole idea was to fast track that and then go on to university, but other things popped up while I was there, so that was sort of like the path I'd taken, really, in the music world. Compound Audio is basically the business I set up. It's probably about 2 years ago now, in 2014, 2013, something like that. Basically, what it is, we specialise in mixing, mastering for like self-finance artists, record labels, game manufacturers, or whether it's film score or even just game dialogue. We would basically take the audio that customers send, and we would just process it using hardware, software, and treat it in whatever areas that are necessary. On the side of that, we have got a sister company called Output Audio, which is more of a sample pack based, and they basically specialise in like music licensing and publishing and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, together it's sort of like snowballing into something pretty big now. So got a great customer, great customer support. We've got a lot of people from all around Europe, America and stuff supporting us. So I'm just really happy that the fact that it's what I love doing, just sitting in the studio, engineering, mixing. So check it out, www.compoundaudio.net. Some challenges that we get. I mean, people send me tunes to say, can you just have a quick listen to this? I want your feedback or your opinion on it. So I would give my opinion on it, whether it was just a listen to or whether it was a pre-master. Now, a pre-master is something where an artist or record label, whoever is submitting the audio, it's in a way where it's ready to be finalised by mastering. But it needs to be in a certain way where you've got a certain headroom, so the overall level is within like a respectable level, so there's still a little bit of room so we can process the audio and treat it, you know, accordingly. What I do find is that people send me tunes like exported straight from their project as loud as they can possibly be, and that's not how I want them. I want them so they're like I say, a respectable volume, so we can tweak and do whatever it is, and then we'll apply the final loudness to the tune. So for me, the problems we come across is people exporting tracks to me as MP3. You can't master an MP3. It's just not wise to do so. WAV, you know, that is the main one that that most engineers would want to use, AF or anything like that. Anything which is not, you know, lossless in sound. Also, when people send me stems, you know, they can send me them so they've either got way too much reverb on them or something which, if they send me a stem like that, and it's not a problem, because I can say to them, do you mind just resending that stem slightly backed off, slightly drier on the reverb or some effect or whatever it is, and if necessary we can apply that onto it anyway. But the whole like thing which like, you know, always gets me is this loudness thing. It's like, just send it at a respectable level, you'll get a better outcome. Tracks which are just way too bassy, you know, again, you say to them, I know it's drum and bass and I know you like the bass, but to send it to me as a pre-master with too little bass, you would get, again, a better result, because for me, you can lift out those areas rather than trying to suppress them down. And the same with the top end, is you don't want it too hacked off, so there's nothing there to apply back, but then again, you don't want it too bright, so you're basically flattening everything. So there is like a tight threshold of how to send it, so that's why I always give my opinion on it. I'm not saying, like, obviously what I say is gospel or anything, that is it, but obviously I can try and steer it to a direction that I'll need it. So yeah, just keep the levels down, you know. So for biggest achievement for me would be probably a couple of years ago. I had 3 tracks of mine released on a game on EA Games, Need for Speed Underground. For me, that was huge, because the game sold 9 million copies. So at the end of the day, I've got 3 of my tunes that is sat in 9 million people's households, you know. And on YouTube, you know, you see people literally playing the game, pulling up, and just playing the tracks, you know. And you know, for me, it's crazy, you know, because I think to myself, wow, you know, someone, you know, on the other side of the world just listening to my music and, you know, enjoying it and feeling it. So to get them on there, that was great. Other than that, I mean, playing at various sort of like events, you know, around Europe, Germany, Italy. You know, for me, that's an achievement in itself, just getting out of the UK to do what you love doing. DJing in another country is, like I say, is something else. Playing at random concert. 2004, we managed to do the studio set for Global Gathering. Yeah, there's loads of bits and pieces, man, that, you know, that I feel is, for myself, like, mean a lot to me anyway. So yeah. Forthcoming projects off the top of the head. Just recently done a collab with Mampy Swift, featuring MC Dynamite on a track called Big Tune, which is coming out on an EP. It's more like an LP sort of tester. It's got some big names on it, some, you know, established artists on the EP as well. So, you know, that's a nice look for me as well, you know, to be on there with Swift. Also in the pipeline, I've got a remix of New Jack City, which was from DJ Monk, the early '94, you know, jungle tune. You know, I feel like grateful for the fact that I've had the chance to remix a massive tune in the jungle scene. Recently just come out was River Niger, which again was a remix of Gappa G and Hyper River Niger. So again, that for me is another, you know, it's another achievement on top, you know, of what we've already said. I've got a jungle remix of a tune from Shucks, and that's going to be forthcoming on Lighter Works. I think it's November that'll be coming out. Also, I've got a VIP mix of Damage, which is also for Manfred Swift's LP. That's the history of Charge Recordings, Manfred Swift. It's going to have a load of his back catalogue and remixes of some of his old tunes. So again, I feel blessed at the fact that I've had the chance to do a VIP mix of it. For me, again, is like a tune that I loved growing up, listening to and everything. Got a couple of jump up bits coming on Agitated Audio. One with Slips, which we both sort of enjoyed doing. It's something different. At the same time, some other bits on just various labels really. Like I said, off the top of my head, there's quite a few bits, but you just need to sort of watch the space really on what's forthcoming. What advice can I give? I mean, I don't think it's a necessity to go college, but I feel that it could help you with questions that you may have to do with anything to do with compression, reverb, EQ, whatever, anything that's going to colour the sound or treat the sound for whatever reason. If you want to achieve a certain sound in a synth, these are the sort of things which they would guide you, from the ground zero of the building blocks of how a synth works.